So what happens when something with a fixed capped supply meets infinite demand? The answer is we have absolutely no clue, and that's the point of this video. The point of this video is that we have never seen this before, and no one understands it. We're so early, and people are still trying to understand Bitcoin, predict what Bitcoin will do based on things that have already happened. But Bitcoin is not just a once in a generation opportunity, it's a once in a species opportunity. There will never be another point in history when our species goes from broken fiat money to sound money with a finite supply. It's never going to happen. It never has happened, and it never will happen again. And like I said, people are still trying to understand Bitcoin through a frame of things that have already happened. I was just scrolling TikTok and I saw this finance creator. They were talking about their investments, and someone asked them, why don't you allocate a percentage of your portfolio to Bitcoin? He says, well, I'm not comfortable putting a huge chunk of my portfolio into Bitcoin. If I just put 3% of my portfolio, that's only $10,000. And then if Bitcoin 3x's from here, it's not going to be that great of a return. And, it's not going to be as good, and only if someone goes all in, only if I had $50,000, then, it might be worth it. But this is just such a flawed mindset, because Bitcoin is a finite asset that has infinite demand. People just don't understand that it has infinite demand yet. Just think about how would you describe, if someone were to ask you, what is the demand of money? It's infinite, right? There's no cap on the demand of money. Everyone wants more money. Even the people that have all the money in the world, they still want more money. You can't use classical economic frameworks to evaluate Bitcoin and predict its future growth. It's unfathomable. We simply cannot predict where Bitcoin's price will go because it is money. And when it is adopted as the money of the world, which is inevitable because it's better money in every single way, it has every property of sound money over our current monetary system. We cannot predict it. We can't predict it. There's a cap on the supply. There's only 21 million Bitcoin. Everyone will want more Bitcoin. So thinking of Bitcoin and, I hope to make a 2x on my return, you're thinking about it completely wrong. You can't frame Bitcoin like that. Bitcoin is sound money. That's all it is. And people don't ask themselves the question, what is money? And why is our current money our money? And when will we switch to a better money? They just assume dollars are money, and they look at investments through their dollar denominated value and how much more dollar value they could gain. But they don't think about the fact that this is a monetary shift. It is a once in a species opportunity to adopt scarce sound money and trade money that's created out of thin air, created out of nothing. You have the opportunity to create government coupons that only have value because the Federal Reserve said they have value. You have the opportunity to exchange that for something that is hard to create and there will never be more than 21 million of, and will win out as money because it's better money. And these are the things you have to start thinking about to truly understand the shift that is taking place. Bitcoin is peace money. It's money for peace, right? When we have money that's created out of thin air, that incentivizes violence, right? Because for a country to go to war, they can just make new money out of thin air and go into debt and worry about it later and use that freshly created money to fund that war. When you have money that no one else can create more of, then it brings accountability to people in power. They can't just turn on a money printer and fund whatever they want to do that day. And that's why Bitcoin is so important. That's why I will be here every day educating people about Bitcoin, why it's important, and why it's not an investment. Bitcoin is the end of investing, right? When you hold sound money, you don't need to invest unless you really want to, unless you see an opportunity in some industry, or, right now on our dollar standard, you have to invest because your dollars are just bleeding value. So you have to find the best return on your investment because you need it to continue to survive into the future. But with Bitcoin, you just chill. Your money's going to be good in the future. No one can dilute your purchasing power. That's why Bitcoin is so powerful, and it's important that we spread Bitcoin education to as many people as possible and keep driving home the message that Bitcoin is not a way to grow your dollar-denominated wealth. It is an exit from a broken money system into a sound money system that works for everyone and is governed by fair rules that everyone agrees upon, and is not governed by rulers who try to rule over people. And yeah, I'm also working on some exciting projects. I'm excited to announce soon some projects that are going to spread Bitcoin adoption and education. I'm super excited to talk more about that soon. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe, comment your favorite color down below, or a question you'd like to discuss. And yeah, as always, together, let's work, save, build a brighter future with Bitcoin. See you in the next video.